of space, no place like our home. Hoist the sails high, let the solar winds blow. This cosmic sea shanty is a tale we all know. Navigating constellations, charting the unknown. With the stardust in our veins, we are never alone. From the Milky Way shores to the depths of black holes, we'll sing our sea shanty as the universe unfolds. Sail up high to the galactic sky on our moonlit voyage. We'll keep reaching high. We're sailors of the cosmos, a crew full of might. Let's sing this sea shanty under starry night's light.
Hoist the sails and let the wind guide our way. We're the spacemen sailing the cosmic bay. From Jupiter to Saturn we'll deliver our freight on our starship, sailing through the interplanetary strait. With a hardy crew and a cargo of dreams, through the nebula's mist we'll forge our own schemes. In the vastness of space where no man has been, we'll navigate and chart the unexplored galactic highway. Heave ho, mateys, upon the starry sea. We're the spacemen sailing through infinity. With our voices loud and our spirits free, we'll voyage across the celestial sea. Oh, 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 voyage across the celestial sea. Oh.
From the darkness of will shining is cosmic victory.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the stream. Just getting my ears screwed in properly, otherwise I can't hear myself, which is always a bit of a problem. Don't want to bump anything. There we go. How is everyone today? I hope everyone is doing well on this Tuesday morning, or thereabouts. We have coffee, we have quantum monsters, we have hydration. We're prepared. Good morning, Jesse. Welcome to the stream. It's glad to have you. Anja the Cat, welcome. Samantha, Marcus, Postmatic, and Marcus. Postmatic, and Marcus. Gary, Lord. Hope you're all doing well. Well, there certainly aren't any brains on this side of the camera. No, thank you for the kind words, Anja. It's very much appreciated. I'm doing okay. Doing okay. Body's still rejecting winter, but not much I can do about that. Good morning, Anthony. Hope you're doing well. But we are now one more step closer to Portugal. I was talking to a real estate agent yesterday. So they're going out and searching for a place for us. I play zombie games. So any spare brains that I had got eaten. Alrighty. But with things ramping up for Portugal, I need to push to get at least several weeks ahead on TFOS. Which is basically just a complicated way of saying, I'm going to get sick. Good morning, James. I hope you're doing well. Going to be clearing my throat a lot. Seem to be a bit gunked up. But these things happen. Hopefully we can break the 2-week curse, yes. I would say, or die trying, but I don't think that's on the table. I refuse. Although, honestly, I don't think my channel can handle too many more breaks for a good while. The algorithm is angry at me. Angy. Didn't get his content, so it's Angy. Edit stream info. We're going back to art. Oh, hopefully. Oh, we can only hope. Alright. At least there will be less stress once we're there. Yes, we are planning to work. But yeah, so once we're there, I think things are going to be a bit better just because there's going to be less stress. So at the moment we're moving house, having to worry about bank accounts and immigration and finding a place, and what am I going to do with my dad in the meantime, and how are we going to do this, and money going out and money not coming in, and all of that stuff. So once we get to Portugal, hopefully most of that stress goes away, and we can just deal with channel stuff. Yeah, I think it's actually going to be more likely we're going to leave, enter in spring. So we're probably going in at the end of summer. So we'll be going from cold season into a hot season going into a cold season. Won't have much of a summer this year. Good morning, Nigel. I hope you're doing well. Right, I want to start knocking these out, so I will start doing the thing. Yeah, I think it's a slightly different as you move across, but yeah, basically. So we're probably going to be there July. End of July. So, yeah, halfway through summer. Which, I don't know whether it's a good thing. Because Portugal's a very big holiday destination in summer. So prices skyrocket just before summer. And then they dip down after summer. / that sort of time. So we were warned that there are sections of the continent, the country, that just catered towards tourists, and you're not going to find a 1-year lease there because they just lease out for 3 to 6 months a year to tourists, and they make more money. Have you thought about having a donut for dinner, for dessert? Well, you can have it for dinner as well, but dessert. So yeah, we're in theory going to hit there in their expensive season. So that's going to be fun. Now we're heading into a bit of a cold front here today. Well, this week. They're predicting snow in places. Probably nowhere near me, but still. Alrighty, there are a couple new people. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through a story. In a Word document. I'm not going to edit it in any way. All I'm going to do is I'm going to assign voices to characters and paragraphs. Once that is done, we will record. Currently, we have about 25 voices without variations. Well, whatever, variations. So yeah, these voices down here are all the male ones, which are the predominant voices that I used. Or use, not used. But there are some variations on these as well. The names of these are also not decided by me. They're decided by chat. So blame chat. I did mute myself again. Hello. Hello? So the mute button is right next to number 1. So I accidentally hit it sometimes. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. It's for the new people. I do accidentally mute myself on a regular basis. Chat keeps itself busy while I figured this out. Normally screaming at me while I ignore them, but this time at least I picked it up pretty early on. If I do miss it, I do apologize. But I am streaming working, so I have to try and make it interesting. And then muting myself gives everybody something to talk about. Yes, I have thought about it, but I have no idea where I would rebind it to. I have it as an emergency button. So it's for when I sneeze, really, or cough too loud. So I need it to be a simple hotkey. There are two problems with the hotkey. Is one is it's next to number 1. And the other one is where I rest my hand on the keyboard is right over the hotkey. So sometimes when I rest my hand on the edge of the keyboard, I hit the button. Screaming or discussing food. That is pretty much the story of my life. Retro Druid 653, good day. It sucks that you're awake so early, but I'm glad that you joined us. It's much appreciated. Yeah, I mean, one is definitely the most common. But that was after I bound the tilde key. I've always used the tilde key as my push to talk or my mute. So it's kind of habit at this point to just have it as the tilde. Rhubarb! Haven't had rhubarb in a very, very long time. It's not really available in South Africa. I think I've had it once in my life. Although, I'm sure now is different. Oh, wait. I forgot to... There we go. Some ASMR energy drinking action. M3. It might be available there. From what I understand, it needs a very, very specific environment to grow. No, I've never understood ASMR. Personally, I do not like ASMR. I'm not overly fond of people whispering into microphones. I find it grating. You either talk or don't, but like, or whisper, as in like telling a story you whisper, not this, and then we do something special, and you can barely hear me. Like, okay, just speak up so I can hear you. And then it drives me up the wall. And even more so since I've started narrating. Because that's like, oh, that's somebody messing up. If you're hitting doing this, you're not narrating right. And if you're whispering like this, you're not narrating right either. So then it's gone from personal annoyance to professional annoyance. So I just don't deal with ASMR. So, I mean, food is very much low end of what we're looking for in Portugal. The first one is a place that I can set up a studio at and almost immediately start recording again. So that's like priority number 2. So priority number 1 is enough space for everybody and it allows my pets. Poppycock, love that word. No. So the microphones they used are no more sensitive than the microphone I use. The only difference is they use a bidirectional microphone, which I've actually used on the channel. I don't know whether you guys ever remember I had that weird microphone with the 2 mics like that. That was a bidirectional microphone, or an ASMR microphone. You can push the gain up, you can push the gain down. You can just turn the gain down, and you can talk normally. So they're not that sensitive. I would say probably my studio mic is more sensitive than an ASMR mic. The only thing about an ASMR mic is it's not mono like this mic, it's just stereo. So you can do the left and right thing, and it sounds like the left and right ear. It's basically the only difference. So, yeah, my studio microphone is so sensitive. When I was using it at the time, I was standing up and I recorded to straighten the body and get it better. The only problem with doing it for 12 hours is it wrecks your hips. But anyway, I had this habit of doing this with my toes on the carpet, and it would pick it up. You could clearly hear that I was moving my toes on the carpet. That's how sensitive the studio mic was. That's why I don't use it. Yeah, that sounds dangerous. Definitely gonna end in tears. Fair enough. The moment you put rain out, people's brains get wet, and they just get worse. Yeah, that's also true. But rain makes it worse. Alrighty, story number 1, edited, well, voiced. Turning on the teleprompter. Maybe, yes. And starting the teleprompter software. Copying. Alrighty. Gonna get into the story. Alright, sit up straight. Checklist time. Are we all ready? Are we all seated? Or standing, or whatever you prefer? We're gonna get this party started. once I find my mouse. Okay. Video recording. Scene changed. Audio opened. Audio recording. Glasses off. Chat ignored. Screens closed. Head on straight. Hair looking good. Or at least acceptable. Eyebrows not attacking anybody. Alright. There we go. I think that's most of the checklist. Let's do some hydration. Or a magic trick. Hydration. Or another magic trick. Hydration. Okay. We have hydrated. We have done everything, I think. Alright, for those that are new, I am using the green screen because the video editing software is way better at removing the green screen than the OBS software or the streaming software. I will also be completely ignoring the chat, to my detriment sometimes, because I'll be focusing on the story. When I get back, or when I stop reading the story, I'll try catch up with the chat. Okay. But don't worry, chat muses itself while I talk, so that's a thing. And away we go. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called An Insult to the Galaxy, written by FarmWitch4275. Humanity. When the Scotani expedition fleet first found them, there was reason for much celebration amongst the great empires of the galaxy. The Scotani were just explorers and data miners, more interested in simply cataloging the universe than actually bothering with the humans. After exchanging information, they simply left, broadcasted the location of a human colony world, then just buggered off. With the location of a new potential conquest, war fleets from the entire galaxy began to slow. War fleets from the entire galaxy began the slow march to conquer the newcomers. It was then the diverse signs we had bitten off more than we could chew. The first and last battle of Eden 4. It was a Kataskan Imperium. It was the Kataskan Imperium, bloodthirsty slave-mongering scum that have plagued the galaxy for millennia since the dawn of the first suns. They arrived on the outskirts of the system, Eden 4, the so-called New Hawaii, whatever that was. A fleet of 1,000 warships of every possible class and make, size and profile. The massive conglomeration of thousands of years of dominating civilizations and stealing their assets for their fleets. They had heard rumors of human strength and dexterity, intelligence, but nothing prepared them for what happened. The speech heard around the galaxy blasted across the entire communication network. A grand speech from the fleet admiral as he started his blovating and posturing, keeping his fleet on standby as he spat his meaningless words to the humans. At its conclusion, humanity as a whole offered the galaxy one simple response. In front of the entire galaxy, in front of the largest fleet in the 6 empires, in front of everyone, the human phase shifted their entire civilization into an alternative dimension and stayed there. 6 dozen star systems suddenly became empty ghosts that looked like they were there, but weren't. Every ship, every building, every star, hell, even every asteroid in the local belts suddenly phased out of reality and into their own alternate dimension of existence, leaving nothing but a slightly transparent ghost of what once was. An entire portion of the galaxy's unexplored region simply popped out of existence, along with the entire civilization that it contained. The war fleet that remained behind did not transition realities with it, and launched an absurdly stupid attempt to do damage. This failed embarrassingly bad, as every shot they fired simply flew through each object harmlessly, as if the great civilizations from eons past created holograms of massive star systems and forgot to turn them off. The humans acted as if the warship fleet nearby was little more than a mild irritation. was little more than a mild irritation, and they simply just carried on doing whatever they were doing at the time. The fleet's communication signals were blocked, and the Admiral's pitiful childish wailing remained unanswered, his calls going to nobody. Humanity, in one fell swoop, not only secured their future as a species and as an empire, but also rendered it onto any enemy the most egregious and vicious insult that they could possibly suffer. To be ignored. The rest of the galaxy saw this as a direct challenge. They all launched attacks. All of them ended the same way. Any disruptive technology they attempted was nothing but a waste of time. Any missile launched simply flew by and did not fire at all, owing to the fact that its intended target could not be found. They even attempted their own phase shift. That also failed. They phased into the wrong universe. Humanity was able to hijack their phase shift systems and phase the ships out of existence completely, leaving the crew floating in dead space. And after that, numerous attempts were made. All was simply ignored. Doomsday devices and superweapons became effectively worthless. The greatest powers in the galaxy became little more than laughingstocks because of their inability to put down a minor civilization 10 times smaller than their own vassals. Humanity had the smallest ships, the weakest weapons, and the fewest systems. They took down entire empires by simply developing a means to ignore them. All previous conventions of war were rendered useless in the span of about 2 minutes. The armies they assembled had nowhere to land. The ships they built had nothing to shoot. Empires came into human systems and set up remote outposts to taunt the humans there. The humans simply ignored them, making all efforts as worthless as the people who created them. Humanity took no steps to kick them out or even retaliate. They just ignored them. It has been 10 years since the last time anyone has tried to do anything about them. Humanity has since claimed a further 60 systems in their local sector, stopping only when reaching borders. They would warp into their fleets. Phase the entire system out, then carry on as if nothing happened. They were building an entire civilization on our doorstep, right in front of us, in their very own pocket dimension. And there was sweet bugger all anyone could do about it. Angry words are exchanged when they got close to a border. They block the comms and bugger off and carry on as normal. They never encroach on territory and clearly mark their own borders. They do not engage with any traders and do not answer random radio communications. They simply ignore everything around them. But that ends today. Today I, Thrax Theran Terror, merchant of the Saranai Imperium, will bridge that gap. I have been observing the humans for some time now, trying to understand them. I found a weakness. I traveled for weeks, warping through every system known to us until finally happening upon the original world. New Hawaii, as they called it, is now a bustling tourism hub, the place that started it all. They, as per usual, ignored the entrance of my small frigate, and I carefully maneuvered my ship through the traffic that they could do nothing to me but pass through. But I tried my best to avoid them regardless. I hovered around the station for a bit. It looked like a dry dock of some kind, and I observed it for about an hour, eventually finding what I was looking for, a seemingly disused and derelict dock. I maneuvered my ship into it and started praying. I had a pre-recorded message for the humans. Every known radio frequency, every known signal, every known radio frequency, every known signal, all broadcasted only locally. I prayed one last time, and then started the recording. Hello, humans. I understand that your introduction to the galaxy was not exactly what we would call, friendly. I guess that's an apt description. I would like to be the first member of the galactic community to extend a hand of friendship, or at the very least, a hand of commerce. My name is Thrax Theran Tar, orderly merchant of the Saranai Imperium. I mean no harm of any kind. If I receive no answer within the hour, I shall simply show myself out. If parked in the wrong place, I apologize for the inconvenience. Thank you, and have a nice day, I guess. This definitely caught their attention, and suddenly every ship within visual range turned to face mine. Unauthorized scan, my ship's AI barked at me loudly, as I had several dozen warships perform scans on my ship. Oh gods, I knew it. I sounded so stupid in that recording. I should have made a proper speech. Oh no, I yelled at myself, my incompetence. Docking clamps engaged, pressurization complete, my AI said again, loudly stamping me out of my daze. What? Docking clamps? I quickly hurried towards my console and checked things. I had phased out of existence, and they had brought me into their universe. More so, I had docked with their station. Before I could do any further, I heard a polite banging on my airlock. Hello? Anybody home? Coming. Please hold on, I yelled out and scurried from my seat. I quickly staggered over to the door and equalized the pressure between the doors and opened it. 3 humans, a large, tall, dark-skinned one, 2 armor-clad ones behind him, and several pairs of eyes hiding from the other end of the passageway. Oh, hello. I was a bit scared, but I blurted out a greeting nonetheless. Hey, blue space elf, the tall, dark one said. Ah, son of a bitch, the one with the left said, and handed him some sort of item begrudgingly to the other one. What was, never mind, welcome to my shop. Let me show you the... Too animated, there was almost coffee all over the place. Welcome to my shop. Let me show you the merchandise. I stepped back, allowing these oddly adorable creatures through. Their heavy footsteps echoed through the hallway as I showed them to the cargo hold. So what kind of stuff do you have exactly? One of them asked. No, I had no idea what to bring exactly. You didn't exactly join the market, so I brought some souvenir stuff, local crafts, musical instruments, and other things like that. Simple stuff. I have no idea what your dietary requirements are, so I tried to avoid foodstuffs. No weapons, no tech, no state secrets and whatnot, just touristy stuff, I guess, I explained as I got to the cargo bay doors and walked inside. The humans followed and allowed me to put the lights on so that we could actually see. One of the humans vocalized a sharp whistling noise and broke formation to go look at an instrument nearby. Ah, well, looks like a fancy version of a harpsichord, he said, gingerly pressing one of the keys. That is called a Sorono key. We usually use it for musical performances or such things. Let me just unfold it properly. I approached and carefully unfolded the intricate device, flipping covers and twisting gears until it was open. It looks like a combination of an accordion, a piano, and a harp. The tall, dark one spoke idly. Please excuse me, the muse is restless, he suddenly said and stood in front of it. He tried to make some kind of song or something. He seemingly pressed some random keys on the instrument, creating god-awful noise for a few times, then attempted a melody. I tried to keep my face straight and salesman-like as possible, but the childish instrument butchering grated on me. Okay then, ladies and gentlemen, Bohemian Rhapsody. Still standing, he began the strangest and most entertaining song that I have ever heard. Strange stops mid-chord, odd riffs and peculiar notes. He was quickly gaining a hold on the instrument, and by the time the song was playing... And by the time the song he was playing was over, he had almost mastered the instrument. He very clearly had experience with similar devices when he finished, some minutes later, the two guards and several humans nearby that had filtered in gave him a round of applause. That sounds damn crisp. That's the crap right there. Yeah. Haven't had a sound that clean since my days in theater, he exclaimed happily. She's complicated, though, bit feisty. Takes some getting used to. I need that thing. What do you want for it? I shook my head and smiled in surprise. I don't know. I could go for some instruments of yours in trade, or take gold bullion. Gold is still a decent trade medium these days. I can take that. Probably I'll have to figure out something out, but that'll do for now, I guess. My nervousness was now more than apparent, but they seemed unfazed. One of them spoke up. Oh, well, let me see here. More instruments, he looked around, opening covers and boxes. No, guitar. What one? Guitar. What is a guitar? I asked, curious. This, he said, and this, he said, holding up an odd wooden thing that he was carrying. He moved it around and held it gently, then began to play a song on it. The sound of that immediately caught my ears. The Cass and I would love this thing. Oh my, that sound. Let me think. Is it okay to ask for three of those in exchange for the sovereign key? I asked politely as I could. Oh, yeah, sure. We have a music shop on the dock. I can go get some stuff and you can try out. He smiled with a spark in his eyes. I have a better idea, the dull dark one said. Welcome to New Hawaii Tourist Center. If you will please follow me, I will help you organize your merchant's license. Then we can make a proper deal and figure out a proper trade system. My face lit up with excitement. This was more than I was hoping for. Yes, I would love that. Thank you. Fantastic. Please follow me, he said, waving everyone away from my ship for now. I followed with a happy step, and all the humans that had wandered in were ushered out of my ship. 2 guardsmen protecting the entryway for me We strutted away and headed for something called a trade office. I, however, had one question. May I ask something? Sure, what's up? He replied calmly. After all that has thus far happened, why are you so, friendly? I asked, as politely as I could. You ask politely. It's not that hard to understand. Up to this point, we had angry words, nasty proclamations, and warlords using our space to measure their schlongs. We were always interested in trade and friendship. Hell, even in sharing tech. All we ever wanted was to not be alone in the universe. But no! We had to suffer an entire galaxy made of empire-hungry slongheads. Yeah, that doesn't work. Empire-hungry idiots, he explained with an annoyed tone. So, to break your animosity, all I had to do was be polite? I asked with genuine confusion. Yep. Please and thank you will get you a lot of places with humans. Make a note of that, he said, closing one eye cheekily. Here you go, the Commerce Guild's trade office. It won't take that long, and I've made sure to secure your ship from prying eyes. I'll see to it that you have some equally interesting merchandise available for trade and secure some bullion just in case, he said with a smile. Thank you. Looking forward to it, I replied with enthusiasm and walked into the door. End of story. Alrighty, let's go back to production mode. Let me catch up with chat. Alrighty, checklist, yeah. Yeah, I do apologize for not having the shared chat up on production mode. Self-regulating chat is a good chat, yes. Ah, Magic the Gathering joke. Ah, I caught it. Teferi. Teferi's protection. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with the ads recently. To monetize the stream, I need to turn ads on, so monetizing as in super chats and gifted subs and all that stuff. But I do try to put it onto the least invasive ad type. But why would YouTube ever listen to me? I've been doing a bunch of updates recently. Universal Soldier with Jean-Claude Van Damme, if I remember correctly. Fair enough, Andricant. Fair enough. Yes, he did. And it's one of the more potent white spells, Teferi's Protection. Especially for protection. Yeah, I mean, there was Time Cop, there was Universal Soldier, there was Bloodsport, that was science fiction, or was that just pure fantasy? Yeah, I think there were 3. He was in 2 of the Universal Soldier movies. He was in like 1 and 3. Let me just double check, so I'm not talking directly out my arse. Well, Double Team was okay. Look, I mean, he did a whole bunch of stuff, and they were mostly okay. I can't really think of any, like, super great movies that he was in. Okay. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Universal Soldier movies. Yeah, I just need at most to just buy a new power supply. So I'm not too worried about getting anything. I just need to find a computer shop and just buy a 650 watt power supply. It's because he's a martial artist, not an actor. His later movies, he seemed to learn some acting, but his beginning movies was not really. Okay, so let's see if I was right. No, he wasn't in 3. Was he in 2? I know he did 2 of them, I think. One of them was he refused to ever do a sequel afterwards. That was Dolph Lundgren. Here we go. Universal Soldier Regeneration, which came out in 2009. Has Van Damme and Dolph Lundgren. And that completes the trivia portion of the stream. Awesome. Oh well. I hope that's awesome, Donald. But I hope it's not too bad. Oh yeah, Alienation. That was odd. There was a movie. I remember the movie more than I remember the series. Alrighty. So that is uno. Done. I do need to edit this though. Yeah, fair enough. I actually do remember now that he was a ballet dancer. Still not an actor. I mean, when Dolph Lundgren and Steven Skull, Dolph Lundgren and Sylvester Stallone and why do these words just go away? Arnold Schwarzenegger have a better acting range than you, then you may be a bit wooden. Just saying. You might want to work on your acting skills at that point. Or even just basic human emotions. I think I watched Expendables 1, maybe 2? And then like, meh. Yes. The thing I love about Dolph Lundgren is that he broke 3, I think, of Sylvester Stallone's ribs in Rocky. He said, "Hit me as hard as you can," and he did, and broke 3 ribs. It's awesome. But always remember Dolph Lundgren from Masters of the Universe, the movie. It was a horrible movie, but I watched it numerous times as a kid. Alrighty. This is going to be a double story video, so we'll have 2. Yeah. That he is. Or was. I don't know whether he still is. Really knows? Why are we deciding to just randomly run? Or are we trading for the comrades? Just give me a second. I need to blow my nose. Alright. I'm gonna mute the mic so I can blow my nose. Yep, that emergency mute button is coming in clutch. But what I want to do is I want to have a thing on my screen, an overlay. I'll probably have to find one that just has a, like, shows me if the microphone's muted. Alright. Oh yes. Yes. Horrible movies, it depends on the movie, but most horrible movies are just glorious. My parents used to call them skopskit and donors, which is basically kick, shoot, and fight. Which is, you know, a generic action movie with very thin plot and just big action scenes. But fun in its own way. No. I lose that over there. Right. Willow Whisperer. Gonna have to do some ASMR. My eyebrow's trying to kill someone. Give me a second. Just give me. There we go. Oh, yeah. Yes, the original Super Mario was a thing, yes. So I watched one. It was a stupid science fiction movie that I've watched probably 100 times for various reasons. And it was from the early 2000s when all those like disaster movies were coming out. It was one of those, but not one of the like really popular ones. It's one of the sort of meh ones. And it's glorious. It is stupid. The science doesn't work. They talk about computers in the complete wrong way, but it is gloriously stupid. It was called The Call. Okay, right. This is a war, brother. Oh, God. Ooh, I think we'll go with the 13 then. Okay, random cough. Yes, The Core. Gloriously stupid. Well, all those disaster movies were. Armageddon, Deep Impact, The Day After Tomorrow. Yep. Unobtainium. That's ridiculous. Hack the Planet. They had the 90s term in there, Hack the Planet. You just rolled your eyes so hard and fast that you almost caused a concussion. It's like, oh my God. Yes, your kung fu is not strong. So I was learning programming at that time when it came out. So all of us were talking about kung fu and programming. It was stupid. It was gloriously stupid. I think we'll go with the noble voice.
Hard as a dragon scales. It's a 3.
Yeah, I saw that. That was also gloriously stupid. It's one of my wife's favorite movies. Is The Day After. Is it Day After Tomorrow? Day After? Day After? No, that's not the one I was thinking of. The Day After. Where? Is this the 1983 one or The Day After Tomorrow? Lysandrum. Because apparently there was a drama called it was a TV series called The Day After. But The Day After Tomorrow is awesome. And 3. M2. Steve Gutenberg. Okay, so what's the TV series one? Maybe. I've seen it. It's really difficult to tell. The 80s and 90s were a weird time in South Africa for lots of reasons. Oh, Tremors. Tremors is awesome. Tremors 1. Oh, 2. That's gloriously stupid. It is. Even the TV series was fun. Look, if you just put your brain on the settee next to you and just turn it off, a lot of movies are fun. It's kind of why. Hey, Dana. Good day. Hope you're doing well. It's kind of why you want entertainment. Sometimes you just want stupid fun. Oh, space pirates. Space truckers. Excuse me. Space truckers. That is a movie that has stuck with me for years. Alright, back. For some reason, I've suddenly developed a cough. Ah, Spaceballs. Spaceballs, your Schwartz is not as big as mine. Robin Hood Men in Tights. It was one of my favorite Mel Brooks. Yeah, definitely one of my favorites. Spaceballs is up there, but Robin Hood Men in Tights is also up there. Probably tied, I would say, in my book. It's good to be the king. M2. Excuse me. M2. May the Schwartz be with all of you. Definitely. Blazing Saddles is also pretty cool. I think the thing that makes Robin Hood Men in Tights stick out for me, it came out new, and I watched it new. Whereas most of the others, I watched them when they were old. If that makes sense. Life of Brian's also funny. Yes. And it had the dude from there was the dude from Aliens that did it. Well, I think it was the guy. It was actually Jonathan Hurt that did it. Do you really think that was Jonathan Hurt? I don't think so. But anyway. Yep, Aliens definitely. If I had to go for top sci-fi, Aliens probably up there. I do remember the Robin Hood from Kevin Costner as well. It's just funny. That is just funny. Also had that song. I think the song was more annoying because it played continuously for years. Bryan Adams' song. Awesome. Don't know why my throat is all. Maybe I'm actually getting sick. Yeah. Sure, why not? Because my voice is, my throat's a bit scratchy now. Oh, that's 3, that's 2. Sorry. Alrighty. Done.
Time for stories. Story time.
Oh. Alright. Video recording. Recording. Scene changed. Teleprompter up. Audio up. And recording. Alrighty. And here we go. Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet and read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called Humans Are the Busy Race, written by Random 3X. Willow Whisperer moved silently through the brush towards his target. The latest in the strikes, the elves were launching against the pitiful human race.
They had declared war on the barely sentient animals all but 3 centuries ago, a traditional amount of time to grant both sides a chance to prepare. But so far, they'd been woefully unimpressed. The closest to a weapon Will-O-Whisperer could find when searching the remains the humans they had silently killed was a small dagger affixed to their waists.
This isn't a war, brother, Oakhart said as he approached Willow. It is a basic extermination of pests.
Willow nodded. His father had told stories of brave humans in full plate armor, covered head to toe in steel.
Hard as dragon scales,
Willow muttered again. Willow muttered under his breath. The armor the humans wore, if it could be called that, was close to what he knew to be called gambersome, only it was able to stop a few arrows. However, aiming for exposed spots resolved that issue quickly enough. A small movement out of the corner of his eye caught his attention. With the speed of the wind, he spun around and launched an arrow into the armpit of a human who was trying to sneak away.
Yet another disappointment,
Willow bemoaned as he approached the groaning man.
"You pay for this,"
the man sputtered.
"You pay for this."
The man sputtered, his teeth already stained red with blood.
"I doubt I will, human. You were given 3 centuries to prepare, and this is what we get,"
Willow said, gesturing around him. The human half spluttered.
"You think this is everything we have?"
The human asked between pained chuckles.
"You only have those knives,"
Willow said, pointing to the knife on the man's belt.
"The bayonet."
The human let a large grin spread across his face.
You really don't know. You really didn't watch us at all, did you?
Why would we watch animals roll in their own filth?
You know, 300 years is a long time for us, right?
I seem to recall your lifespans are barely a few decades, yes?
Willow replied, wondering where this was going.
Well, decade after decade, your declaration. The decade after your declaration, a clever alchemist was playing with some stuff.
The human paused to wheeze a bit of breath.
Saltpeter, sulfur, and a bunch of other stuff. He mixed it in an iron cauldron to see what would happen.
And made some kind of wonder drug?
Willow asked, curious where this train of thought was going.
No. The bottle had shut off with a loud boom when he began cooking the mixture. Right then, the most terrible force yet was unleashed.
Something that goes bang?
Yes. Something that goes bang. Clever people with big brains worked out what if we repeated this on purpose. What if we made something that sends something flying with a bang?
So you made a projectile. Surely it was useless. Nothing compared to our bows and millennia of training,
Willow boasted. Maybe, but we don't live long, you see.
Yes, you established this. Get to the point, vermin.
Willow snarled as he twisted the arrow, causing the man's face to contort in agony.
Ah, damn you, you knife-eared prick! We spent centuries improving this toy, using it on each other in our many wars against one another.
You had centuries to prepare and you wasted it on one another.
You see, Knife-ear, we are not as long-lived as you bastards. We aren't as industrious as the dwarves either. What we are, though, is very busy.
Busy?
Willow parroted. Yes. We know we don't have long, so we try to cram as much into each life as possible. Sometimes that involves creating a gun to kill another human.
And this gun will be your salvation?
Should be. You know, when you aren't targeting unarmed civilian camps, the human replied, taking out a hand-sized tube of some kind.
Is this the gun?
Willow asked, unimpressed. No, I left my guns back at base. I was just meant to be delivering food to the refugees. But big oversight on my part.
The human meekly smiled.
This here is a smoke grenade, he explained,
pulling the pin and throwing the device away. Soon a pop went out, and red smoke began billowing upwards.
Signaling for help then?
Willow asked, cocking his head.
Yes, calling all 120 of my friends to come down here. Yes, calling all 120 of my friends to come down on everyone here. You see, that red means no survivors.
It doesn't matter how many humans come here. Not 120, not even 1,000 can match our unit.
You seem to misunderstand me, Knife here. The 120 isn't the number of men, it is the size of the gun. You see, soon after someone made a gun, they asked, what if we made it bigger?
Several thunderous booms echoed off in the distance, as if to punctuate his point.
They know your range and settings. They know the range and settings to hit any and all settlements, just in case.
The human grinned before hacking up a glob of blood. Well then, I'll shoot down the projectile with my bow, Willow barked, raising his bow and arrow and scanning the horizon. Worst case, we run. Worst case, we can run.
How fast? The human asked.
As fast as the wind.
Tell me, is the wind faster than sound?
What? Willow barked, looking at the human. What could possibly be moved faster than sound?
Shrapnel from the very big rounds our big guns just shot. Less than a few seconds before, this place is nothing but a...
All good hits, sir, one of the observers announced. How many pointy pricks did we get? A good few dozen, sir. They were just all standing around like they were celebrating. I see. Well, to be fair, they did need 300 years to get their heads so far up their arses that they could see out their mouths. Send word along the line. We might have some more breaches. No more assuming that we know where they are. End of story.
Give me a second. And there we go. Right, let me catch up with chat. Good morning, Lord Draco. Hope you're doing well. Good morning, Base Seringaru. Hope you're doing well. So I don't have that on while I'm recording a video. I've got notifications and all the fun stuff that a normal stream has when I'm talking to the chat. But I don't have that on when I'm recording a video because it will ruin the video. So that's why we go to the very basic streaming layout for recording. And then we've got all the chat stuffs and goals and flashing fireworks and gambling sounds when chatting with chat. Good morning, Rolando. Hope you're doing well. What was I doing? Oh, one of two. That's what I was doing. Oh, we're up to 40 viewers. That's awesome. 6 on Twitch and 30. How does that work? 32 on YouTube and 7 on Twitch. It's awesome. Awesome stuff. Now that's quite serious, Nigel. You can get some real bad thunderstorms. Alright, that's that one done. We're just gonna minimize this. We're gonna open that. And we're gonna paste the story. Oh, thank you, Leonie. Yeah, it's doing okay. We'll see how it goes. Ooh, things and stuff are happening. Thank you very much for the follow, Lord Draco. It's very much appreciated. Here I am, indeed. Hiding away in the art section. Mainly because there isn't a voice acting section. Yeah, so this is going to be the second story for this video, so it's going to be quite short, probably 5-6 minutes. Just quickly go through and do the voices. Lowercase I. Sure. Okay, shaking breath. So we're going to go with cowardly voice in this one. M13 for that one.
Where is Supreme Commander Zulk, Instant?
Kind of word. 1. And 4. M13. M4. M13. M4. M1. M4. M13. M1. All hail now. There we go. M10. M10. M13. M10. M1. M10. Okay. Nice and short one. Audio. Open up a new file. Audio recording. Video recording. Setup changed. And away with the second story. Story number 2. When you're losing the spat, you really need to tread carefully. Written by Shady Stranger. The council was silent as the nervous and shaking ensign walked to the microphone, taking a shaking breath. He opened his report and glanced at the human diplomats.
Hello, I am Ensign Clachathutzelpia of the Kynes Collection.
He swallowed nervously.
I have been tasked with providing Supreme Commander Zulk's daily report on the situation in the Gamma sector.
Where is Supreme Commander Zulk, Ensign?
The High Counselor roared. The ensign naturally camouflage flare. The ensign's natural camouflage flared and made him translucent for a second before he calmed down and spoke in a shaking voice.
He passed out, sir. The new developments in the war shocked him.
The ensign shifted back to staring at the happy-faced humans.
What developments?
The High Counselor roared again.
The enemy is retreating, sir.
The ensign choked out, his eyes not leaving the humans.
Explain,
the High Counselor spoke. The High Chancellor said, confused and stunned.
As you know, all signatories of our council must contribute to ongoing galactic-level wars.
The ensign started before swallowing down some fear and mustered his courage to continue.
The latest reinforcement was from the humans, sir, but they sent...
The ensign froze as the humans smiled wide and continued as their lead diplomat gave him a nod.
They sent 6,000 ships, sir, and 12 million ground forces with dedicated transport and support fleets, numbering an additional 3,000. They took operational control of the sector and have liberated 6 worlds across 4 systems, sir.
The council was eerily silent as the news sunk in. They'd all dismissed humanity's claims to reinforce with warriors, knowing them as merchants and diplomats of the galaxy. So to hear the news that they had mustered so many ships and troops was understandably jarring. The ensign continued.
The humans have also made contact with the enemy, sir.
The High Counselor looked at the human delegation for confirmation, which Ambassador Sam Krieger gave with a nod.
Elaborate, Ambassador.
The human ambassador stood up and smiled.
The enemy we have been fighting calls themselves the Vor. They are a hierarchical hive mind of insects from a Class 6 death world.
He says calmly, announcing the existence of the only other Class 6 death world in the galaxy. The other one is the calm and collected humans.
They attacked because they require resources to feed their growing population, and the human empire is currently negotiating for peace. You can't do that. You are a signatory, not a seated race,
the High Chancellor said, angry at the brazen break of the bylaws of the Federation.
Well, see, the Vor refuse to speak to anything they deem a non-threat. Death will mentality and all that nonsense, the ambassador said back calmly. To be franker, humanity understands their point of view, but we just took a different path in space. We came to you with peace and friendship because we didn't feel like dealing with a galactic-level war. I mean, honestly, your entire military force is having trouble with their harvesting fleets.
The silence that followed the news that they were losing to fleets not meant for warfare was broken by the ensign passing out at the podium. The multiple bioreactions to fear, dread, and horror from 200 delegates lit the room up in a mesmerizing display. But the human ambassador continued,
So, the Vor will not parley with the Federation, because to them you are all petulant children playing at governance. However, they have recognized humanity as equals, and are amiable to staying in their corner of the galaxy if we ship them 30 trillion tons of foodstuffs suitable for carbon life forms. Moreover, they seem ready to agree to a defensive pact with humanity, which will extend their military support to Federation if the humanity is not ousted.
End of story. And back. Let's go back to stream mode. Hello, stream mode and chat. And bots. Hello, bot. How are you doing, bot? Are you having a good day, bot? I'm glad. You need a pat on the head. That's fine, bot. We can do a pat on the head. Here we go. There's your pat on the head, bot. I hope you have a good day. Anyways.
Good morning, Desoto. I hope you're doing well. I'm doing fine. No, I haven't finished moving. We're still in the process. Hopefully by the end of July we'll be in Portugal. So there's a lot of stressful packing and sorting stuff out at the moment. I will start other series when the voice is back up to 100%, and I'm at least a month ahead on TFOS. I need to put that month in so that when I move, there's no stoppage on the channel. Got to keep that algorithm ticking. Got to keep tickling its balls. Otherwise, it treats you very badly. All right. Save. We're going to save this. That. Yep, indeed, Captain. Head pats with the bad hammer. Ban hammer. All right, story number next. Done. All right, next one is a single story of 11 minutes. That's not good, Nigel. Give me a second. I'm just going to pop to the bathroom. I shall play some space shanties and let my squirrel comrade, keep you entertained.
We shall roam through the vastness of space. No place like our home. Hoist the sails high. Let the solar winds blow. This cosmic sea shanty is a tale we all know. Navigating constellations, charting the unknown. With the stardust in our veins, we are never alone. From the Milky Way shores to the depths of black holes, we'll sing our sea shanty as the universe unfolds. Sail up high to the galactic sky on our moonlit voyage. We'll keep reaching high. We're sailors of the cosmos, a crew full of might. Let's sing this sea shanty under starry night's light.
Hoist the sails and let the wind guide our way. We're the spacemen sailing the cosmic bay. From Jupiter to Saturn we'll deliver our freight on our starship, sailing through the interplanetary strait. With a hardy crew and a cargo of dreams, through the nebula's mist we'll forge our own schemes. In the vastness of space where no man has been, we'll navigate, chart the unexplored galactic highway.
Alrighty, back. Story number next. Hey, two negatives makes a positive. Or something. Story number next. Definitely. Alright. Move that up there. And 1. It's a good story so far. M10. Yeah, I think we'll go with M10. M10. Da-da-da. M3, I suppose. M10. That's not good, Psuedo. It's very not good. Could also just be a flu or a cold. Some variations do affect the voice in a very bad way. Also, post-nasal drip does it, for me. M3. M10. M3. 1. M10. M1. M10. M1. M1, not M10. No, rat fingers. 1, not 10. I got a sneeze brewing. Fantastic stuff. Fair enough, fair enough. I think covered from the trim. Although I did trim the moustache last night. Otherwise, I get more food in my moustache than in my mouth. I try to, but sometimes I just forget, quite honestly. Also, a bunch of the old videos just see me like kind of looking down, and that's me looking for the button to push. So, it is something I need to work on, but concentrating on so many things, sometimes I forget. Okay, we've changed narrative styles halfway through a story. Oh, it's not eating, it's just chewing. It's like bubble gum. It just stays there and you can just keep chewing it. And then you can get a bezier ball in your stomach. It's awesome. I try and enjoy life, Draco. I do. I mean, my life's a million times better than it was before I started the channel. So, don't really have anything to be upset about. I mean, it's really, like, the normal stresses of life. You're moving, immigrating, family, that sort of stuff, but we do what we do. Yeah, where RAM is not upgradable at this point. Maybe some time in the future.
Sailing through the cosmos, it's my final voyage, leaving Earth behind, seeking stars.
And look, if my biggest gripe in life is about my immigration struggles, that's a good life, I think. There are worse ways. Well, and 3. And 10. And 10. M1, question mark, M1, statement, M1, exclamation mark, M1, lingering sentence. Okay. M10, I think. No, 3. 3? We change point of views. Okay. Depending on the stories, could be good or bad. Or funny. Oh yeah, the brain's weird. So, I mean, I don't have normal nightmares. So, like, horror things don't scare me, so I don't have normal nightmares like that. My worst nightmare is a dream loop of somebody breaking into the house. And it's not necessarily... I'll be lying in bed, and I hear glass break. And then I wake up, and then I hear glass break, and then I wake up. And eventually I know I'm in a dream, but I can't get out of the dream loop. And my brain's thinking, I wonder if I'm hearing glass break in real life, and it's filtering into my dream, and I have to wake up. I have to do it, because somebody's breaking into the house. And then I wake up, and then it's a dream. So to me, that's my worst nightmare. Doesn't happen often, but when it does, whew, I wake up pissed off at my body. M2. I mean, I tell my wife about my normal dreams. She's like, to me, that would be a horror. I'm like, it's whatever. It's fun. But reality stuff is more frightening than any dream, I think. M1. Normally, dreams are whatever to me. It's just that specific loop is... And it's the thought, not that somebody's breaking into my house in a dream. It's that I'm dreaming about somebody breaking into my house in reality. Because I have a habit of incorporating my environment into my dreams, so me hearing breaking glass tells me, well, reminds me that it could be breaking glass in real life, and I have to wake up to deal with whatever's happening. That's the nightmare part. Oh, I figure out that I'm looping quite easily. I just can't get out of the loop, no matter what I do. No matter how angry I get. No matter what I try. It just keeps looping. And I know that it's a loop. But for a few seconds, I'll be like, did I get out the loop? And I'll be like, no. Okay. Again and again. Angry dog. Bark, bark. Fair enough, Lord Draco. That's interesting technique. Still angry dog. Woof woof, woof woof. It's telling the outside world to stay the outside world. Good morning, Sean. Hope you're doing well today. No, it's not 3. That is 3. M2, M3, M1, M2, M3. M2. Okay. I'm doing as well as can be, Sean. Just trying to get ahead of everything. The rat race and all that. We are tempting fate by trying to get 2 weeks ahead on the TFOS. And fate is a fickle witch with a V. Nice. 3050 is nice. I've got a 3060. Still works brilliant. TI. Still works very well. Different narrators have different strategies. So if you're reading like a physical book, they use poster notes or highlighted colors as a thing. I personally just use code words because the teleprompter doesn't do colors. Yeah, I've never been a sleepwalker. My wife went through a little phase where she was doing some sleepwalking and some night terrors, but seems to have calmed down. Alright. Story number next. Are we ready, chat? Are we ready? I've started the video recording. I've started the audio recording. Okay, and the story, away we go. Greetings, ladies and gents, and welcome to this latest edition of Tales from Outer Space, where I take stories from across the internet, read them for your entertainment. This particular story is called Someone Had to Go First, written by In Babylon They Wept. The first ship that had arrived was pretty matter-of-fact about its fate. The pilot introduced himself as Eric, and told us that he was part of the first sublight resupply attempt in modern history. He then gave me the ground control team the bad news. He then gave me and the ground control team his bad news. So, he said, without real-time telemetry, we weren't even sure which... Without real-time telemetry, we weren't even sure which half of your orbit we would be in. That's a half a solar system's worth of wiggle room. Decelerating enough to survive contact with your low orbit would take me 2 weeks, which, it looks like we don't have. That means that in order to get the second ship in before you lose orbital control to the crash, I'm going to have to make a sacrificial flyby. 10 to the -4 Tor is good enough for that lot of things. Is good enough for a lot of things. But at 0.7 C, I'm going to be like sandblasting a soup cracker. It's going to be like sandblasting a soup cracker. Good news is that all the expensive toys are in the next ship. So this really ain't costing you more than the ship and a pilot. You knew, I said. If they put that expensive toys in the second ship, they knew that the first was likely a sacrifice. No one smart enough to handle orbital physics would miss that. I did, he said, but someone had to go first. That was, of course, a lie. No one had to go first. No one else had, at least. When our connection to the FTL network was lost, we'd understood that as the end of our reinforcements. Doing resupply via sublight was just too risky. It was a testament to Earth that it had accepted its risk and continued anyway. Is there anything we can do for you? I asked. This man had come here to die for us. I wasn't sure how much I could give, but what I had was his. I do have a few requests, he said. First up, I need as much high orbital data as you've got. The whole lot. I began directing tight beam resources to him immediately. It was an easy resource to exchange. It wasn't like there was anyone else out there to talk to anymore. When we lost FTL, we found ourselves very, very alone. Second, he said, I'm now gonna sound like a princess right now, but I've been stuck in the stupid tin can for almost 2 years now, and I seriously overestimated how much I like synth music. If you have anything that's analog, I don't care what kind of string or drum bass you play, but I'd kill to hear something with a bit of beep in it. But I would kill to hear something without a beat in it. But I'd kill to hear something without a beep in it.
I jumped my own cue into the type beam and added a short playlist that I ripped from the local web. Human music. It was labeled 3 terabytes. I prayed there was something on it that he'd like. And third, he said. Third, the next pilot is pretty mad at me. Turns out this will just be one of those things left unfinished. That's all death really is, I guess. A lot of unfinished things. Let him know that he was right, that he is the better pilot than me. But tell him that it wouldn't have made a difference here. Bad luck beats skill, and this luck was shit. I promised, and he went silent after that. We could see what data he was analyzing, and the short answer was all of it. Everything from atmospheric density to troop positions and his own ship's blueprints. He knew that he had one shot at this, and that the price wasn't paid here. Knew that if the price wasn't paid here, it would be paid by whoever came next. Ground control didn't get a verbal warning that he entered atmosphere, just a ping. A little, "Here I am," whispered in the dark. After that, we could keep track with visuals alone. He hit the outskirts of the exo-atmosphere in his first pass, burning bright enough to be seen with the naked eye. He caught a space particles like a kite, trying to shed enough speed to hit actual low orbit. Automatic telemetry updates gave us a grim news for the ship. Thermals were holding up decently, but the ablative was wearing out fast. The entire descent brought us more than 2 hours of reprieve. The Kresh hadn't expected to see a resupply, but they knew what one meant. Get it now, get it fast, or deal with a stream of new troops. They could buy themselves 10 days' time by shooting this one down now. That was an eternity during a siege. The first loop lowered the speed by about a 20th of light. The pilot responded by putting the ship in tighter, burning, trying to preserve more ablative plating by trading off with thermal. 7 fighters were close enough to fire off heat seekers. I don't think the Kresh had ever anticipated shooting down a craft coming in that hot. The missile's decoy avoidance countermeasures actually made it steer around the thing, chasing down loose pieces of shrapnel. Cooled fragments, still hotter than an engine, should be at full blast. Cooled fragments, still hotter than an engine, should be still at full blast. Cool fragments, still hotter than an engine should be at full blast. The simple mistake brought it enough time to enter pre-orbit, and the fighters had to stop their pursuit. They weren't willing to die to stop the ship. Our man, on the other hand, was already committed to the course. A third loop followed a fourth. A third loop followed by a fourth. Ablative coating went from 65% integrity to 30 to 5. Telemetry scans were exponentially detailed. The pilot was making a flyby count. The last message we got from him was simple. "Are you EMP shielded?" he asked, not even bothering to encrypt the text stream. He didn't have time to process more than that. "Yes," we replied. We knew what he was thinking, but it was still a shock to see it. The fusion torch flared hot, burning through the nozzle and feeding directly into the craft's deuterium. Burning through the nozzle and feeding directly into the deuterium supply. The reaction went supercritical, and the resulting neutron pulse set off everything in the ship with an Z count higher than iron. 3 continuous seconds of EM interference screamed through the comms as the Hulk burned through orbit. The explosion itself wasn't powerful enough to kill the crashed ships still in high orbit, but it made enough broadband radiation to blind both sides later. The man must have been a hell of a pilot. Half the shrapnel went down and got burned up as it entered as it entered the atmosphere, traded. Half the shrapnel went down and got burned up as it entered the atmosphere, traded as the cost of moving the other half past Lagrange. Standard evasion would have made the pieces easy to dodge, but with the radar down, all the cash could do was sit still and cower as the wrath of a dead man riddled them full of holes. Our best ace had managed to shoot down 7 ships before this. Before getting shot down himself. The wreckage of the freighter took down 6. The second ship came in stealth. 1 second, we were holding attrition in high orbit. The next, something the size of a small station came ripping through the atmosphere. It did the same trick as the former, swapping between ablative and thermal loads, coming down at a speed that the crash fighters didn't even try to match. Armies could be built in years, but skills like these took decades. Telemetry connection was established almost as an afterthought. The way the ship casually ate through the ablative armoring made my eyes water, but the pilot himself seemed pretty nonplussed. "You're down to 15% coverage. You need—" "What I need," he said, "is to see the previous ship's telemetry. If there's one thing that you can trust, is that this bird is going to come down gentle." He cut off my chance to reply by flicking the channel off. We watched and we rang our hands, but sure enough, he came in 6 minutes later with 4% of ablative left. I met him at the landing pad. Under normal circumstances, we'd have needed 24 hours for the craft to cool enough to even approach, but we'd had cryo ready just in case. 3 tankers of nitrogen and a loading area at least. And the loading area at least was cool enough to touch. Safety would have to take a backseat to speed here. We needed the supplies fast. Both would take backseat to the promised conversation with the second pilot. He was out of the craft as soon as the air was cool enough to avoid scalding his lungs, picking through the workers to try and find who had the telemetry data. I found him first. The drive went into his hands, but I needed to keep my promise with Eric before letting go. "You're better than the first pilot." "You're better than the first pilot," I said, and I wasn't lying. If the previous flyer had been a saint, this one was a god. But you wouldn't have been able to manage that landing either. There just wasn't time. "Let me see," he said. "Let me see," he said, tugging on the drive. "Just let me see. I have to know if I could do it better. I have to know that someone had... Just let me see. I have to know if I couldn't do it better. I have to know that someone had to die." I let go of the drive, and he stalked back to his ship. I didn't follow. I figured I'd pushed things far enough as it was. The second pilot left the ship 6 hours later. He looked bleary in a way that put me at ease. I'd been up the last 6 hours directing supplies from the ship. Everything from ground-to-orbit rails to AGI targeting systems was inside. And to say that it was game-changing would be an understatement. It was good work. But I was tired, and I didn't want to have to pretend otherwise. Seeing the other man with bags under his eyes meant that we could just be frank with each other. I couldn't have managed it," he said, half ashamed, half relieved. "It just wasn't possible," I agreed. We sat there for a moment. I didn't mind the break. This was time well spent. Did it hurt?" he asked finally. "Ablative failed before heating." "Ablative failed before heating," I said, which was a technical way of saying no. He overloaded the reactor before the ship actually broke up and did some kind of slingshot maneuver, hit the main body of the crash fleet with half the space station's worth of shrapnel. "Good," he said. I knew the signs, the tremor in his shriek, the way his jaw clenched. It wasn't professional, but I hugged him anyway. Let him have the dignity of choosing to weep instead of having to wrench it. Let him have the dignity of choosing to weep instead of having it wrenched out of him. It was a gift that we'd all been given at one point in this war. At least for now, there was hope that it could be over soon. End of story. Let's go back to recording mode. Good morning, Ashlick. I hope you're doing well. I do. Must have been a bit of toilet paper from when I blew my nose. Where? Ah. Must have been a bit of floof. I'm doing well, Ashleg. Thank you for asking. Nah, it's, was a weird cadence. Not a bad story, but not bad writing, it's just... Sometimes the cadence of a story just messes with me. This is one of those. Yes, I enjoy this job. I enjoy it a lot more now than I did when I started, because now I'm earning money and I wasn't when I started. But being financially secure and doing the job makes it easier, and it makes it easier to enjoy. There isn't that note of desperation in all the videos. Yes, she does. She does a fantastic job. Look, I mean, before 5 years ago, I would never have said that I would become a narrator or a YouTuber. But here we are. You never know where you're going to end up. Indeed. All hail the wife. Thank you, Sean, for the kind words. Much appreciated. Alrighty. Just gonna take a little moment, relax. Yeah, one never knows where you're gonna end up. I think, personally, that regardless of your voice, you'll always find an audience for it. Some people don't like my voice. And that is perfectly fine. Excuse me. My thumbs are dumb every morning. So fear not. Alrighty, this is going to be a 18-ish minute story. Clocking in at about 2,000 words. 2,926 words.
It's almost 3,000 words. Cannibal, thank you for the kind words. Yeah, we're getting there. It just takes a long time. I think we should be back to full production mode in a month or two, but that's just with recovery. There will be lots of interruptions in the next month or two because of immigration. So, yeah. It's gonna be a lot of stuff happening. Okay, whoop, that's an author's note. We don't need that. Yeah, I stream at 10 a.m. my time, so my normal working time. I can't stream earlier than that because that would just wreck my voice. I wake up at 7, I start drinking water. It takes 2 hours for the vocal cords to get hydrated, so I can't start any sooner than 9, 9:30. But I like giving myself a bit of leeway to drink the 2 liters, because 2 liters of water just as you wake up is not fun. And then the later in the day, the more my concentration is a bit messed up. So you naturally get tired during the day, and your concentration falls. So it is what it is, really. Your name? Yeah. We are. We're moving to Portugal. So, yeah. It's been 18 months of dealing with stuff. Not really cannibal. Honey does help a bit, but I'm diabetic, so I can't have it. And tea is whatever. So the vocal cords are the last organ to hydrate when you hydrate, and they are the first organ to dehydrate. So you need to be at 100% hydration for your vocal cords to be hydrated. It takes 2 hours to do that. That's just a physiology thing, physiognomy or whatever. So while honey helps soothe a voice, it doesn't hydrate a voice. Because you drink with your throat, you don't drink with your vocal cords. Yeah, hot water does. But hot water doesn't get absorbed quicker. It just makes your stomach ease, and you can drink more. So if you drink cold liquid, your stomach tightens and you can't drink as much. And if you drink warm water, it loosens the stomach up a bit, relaxes the lining and all of that, so you can drink more. But it still sucks having to wake up and drink 2 liters of water. No, not quite 3 gallons. That's half a gallon. The conversion's the other way around. It's 4.7 liters to a gallon, if I remember correctly. Gallon to liter. 4.5. No, 3.7. 1 US liquid gallon is 3.7 liters. So 66.66% of a gallon. Well, I mean, I don't really know. I just followed the doctor's orders. And then try find stuff that helps. I mean, I hate water. I don't like water at all. So I add like additives to the water to make it more palatable. But it does become a space problem, having to drink so much water quickly. I'll definitely try my best, Ubex. But it's a fine line. Have to produce content to earn money. And producing too much content will ruin my voice. So, fun and games. Well, not ruin my voice, just damage it. Type 2. I'm not on insulin, so I was on pills, 2 pills a day. Recently, I've moved over to Ozempic, which is nice because that's only once a week. So don't have to worry about pills every day. Makes remembering to take it a lot easier. Well, this one was a custom-made one, but if you like the sort of design, just look for a safari suit. There are some similar out there, but they normally have a different color. Yeah, it's all about. And the balance changes every day, which is the tricky part. So we're in winter. We're going into winter. My sleep, hydration, all of that affects the voice. So on a day-to-day basis, I need to judge how the voice is going and how much I can do. Yeah, so a safari suit is, I think it's technically, if you want the same color, it's an Indian safari suit, but I could be wrong. No, that's not quite right. Yes. So the other thing is safari suits are almost always short sleeves. So this is why this is custom. Is I changed the collar and I changed it to long sleeves. But other than that, it's pretty much a standard safari suit. Give me this picture. I'll show you. No, go away. Nope. Go away. Update settings off. Done. Weird noises. Well, the color was in consideration with the green screen. So safari suits traditionally are a khaki color. So that's a brown-green color. But we wanted to go away from green because we didn't want it to conflict with the background. So we went more brown so that it was quite opposite. So this, let me just double check, is this showing up now? Okay, town. And close you. Okay, so this here is a normal safari suit, basically. I did a search for safari suit and found this one. So this jacket and that jacket aren't that different. It's just the styles of buttons and styles of pockets. Wow. Moose destruction. That depends. It depends on your clearance. If your clearance isn't high enough, I can't tell you whether there is or isn't an alien city behind me. So, I mean, that was safari. I typed in Indian safari suit. And that was one of the first results. There are Australian ones, which are slightly different. South African ones, which are similar to the Australian ones. But yeah, it's pretty common. Anyways, back to work. Yeah, I mean, type 1 is rough. One of my uncles, this was type 1. But uncle by marriage. All right, let's continue with the work. 1 and 1. and hydration. Coffee. So those are the voices. When I use the codes in the story over here, let me do this. The codes over here. These codes. Or these codes. They're mainly there to help people decipher what codes I'm using. The names of these codes was decided by chat on the day that we did it. And if you want me to do a super chat or something in a specific voice, you can just put the code in and I'll try my best. Thank you very much, Cannibal. Thank you for the kind words. Much appreciated. I have? Actually, I could probably do it right now. I got a bit of green fabric on my desk, hiding my desk away. It's a magic trick. Oh. It's an invisibility cloak. No! There you go. See, the problem is the shadow. And that is shadow from the light onto the headrest. That's why the green screen's so far back. So you don't cast shadows on it. And that shadow is very difficult. I mean, I'd have to get a different color green, try and get it closer. But as you can see here, there's a bit of dark, but it's this dark shadow here. So to light this up is very difficult. That's why I've never really done it. Whereas if I do it like this, it's whatever it is. Good morning, Samantha. Welcome back. So I do need a slightly different. Yeah, so I mean, I should actually just take this damn thing off. But you can't. It's the sort of chair where you can't. But I am getting a new chair in 2 months when I move, so I'm not too worried about it. Yeah, so it's... yeah, you need 2 separate sets of lights. Thankfully in this room, the light at the top is diffuse enough and bright enough that it lights most of this up. And then I've got a spotlight in front of me. That's the one that's causing the shadow onto the headrest. So there are some handy YouTube videos, but you basically need about a meter and a half between you and the green screen. That way any light in front of you is not going to cast a shadow behind you. And then once you've dialed in the spacing, you don't ever want to move it. It's all good, Sean. It's all good. This is part of the stream. The only time where I actively ignore is when I'm narrating. You got questions, ask. Fair enough, Nigel. Fair enough, but New Zealand doesn't want me. Most of the world doesn't. Well, the stream is working, and interacting with you guys is part of the stream, so there you go. Interacting with you is working, so you can't distract me from working by interacting with me. M3. Goodbye, Ashleg. I hope everything goes well. Expedient without issue. M2. Gitlan. Gilgan. M2. M3. M2. M3. 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 M2. M3. 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 M2. M3. I'm noticing a pattern here, chat. Wait, we're stuck on the wrong thing. It's supposed to be here. That's where we're supposed to be. We're back. M1 Kaivan. I think we'll call that one. M1. Oh, first yawn of the stream. Ugh. What the hell are we talking to? This is a new character. M2. Yeah, well, that probably won't ever happen. Look, I've got trauma. Real trauma. From Shakespeare in English. I'd rather punch myself in the face. Although it could be funny in a scientific, science fiction context, but... Alright, yeah, I mean, that can be said for a lot of countries. But if the first thing you do going into a country is an illegal act, do you really respect that country? And then policies can change. So I'd rather go through the legal process and get it set in stone with legal precedent than do it in any other fashion. M2. Oh, second straw, yawn of the stream. Yeah, and that's... I rarely play with the music on Project Zomboid. Mainly because I'm normally watching a video or something. M3, M2, M3, M2. Fair enough, Sean. Fair enough. M2. M2. M3. Who's that? Guillotine. Yeah, that's M2. M3. It's got a guillotine. Guillotine. Conscience. M2. M3, M2, M3, M1, M2. Third yawn of the stream. It's downhill from here, chat. The wrong way around. That's 2. There's M3. That is M2. That is M3. That is M2. All right. M3. M3. M2, M1, M2, M3, M2, M3. Is this going to turn into a fart joke? I hope it turns into a fart joke. A very, very serious fart joke. What the? M2. Fair enough. I'm glad I'm entertaining people. Or half people. Or little people. Whatever. Mini-me's. M3. M2. Okay, not a fart joke. I don't think that's supposed to be Kai Fan. Oh, excuse me. I think that's supposed to be Jitleen. M2. Oh, that sucks, DeSoto. I mean, I knew a friend of my dad's child was born with a hole in her heart, so for the first year of her life, she spent more time in hospital and recovery than at home. It's always heartbreaking when that happens. I can't remember the name of that one. M3, M. M3, M2, okay, M3. Let's see, how close does this get to the line of YouTube guidelines? Yes, Ming the Merciless, definitely. He had a very, very fantastical throw. M2. M3, M2, M3, M2, I don't know. I have to decide what I'm going to do with the very, very long one-shots. If it's a one-shot and it's over 5,000 words, I'm not likely to do it, just because of planning purposes. I literally only have so many words I can narrate a day. So the longer the story, the less likely I am to narrate it. I have done some very long stories in the past, and I might do so again. But as of now, in the recovery period, I'm definitely not going to be doing the longer stuff, as in 20 minutes plus. So 10,900 words would be an hour and 15 minute narration, which is quite a long narration for a single video, not a series. Ideally, I like between 10 and 20 minutes. Seems to be the sweet spot for YouTube and people. Sometimes I go a bit over. It depends on what's available, but 10,000 is definitely on the quite long side. Yeah, that's a good way of describing it, a vocal marathon. I mean, it's doable, but I have to, unfortunately, weigh the cost of one video versus 5 videos. So there is that. There's an equation that has to, unfortunately, be played out. Time versus money versus amount of videos. But if it was a series and it was broken up into more manageable chapters, then I'd probably slot it in somewhere. But because series are so long, I'm not really hurting for series too much. One-shots are a bit trickier because it's always difficult thinking up new ideas. So people tend to do less one-shots and more series. I could, but then it's not a one-shot. then it's a miniseries. And then also finding a natural point to stop a story is very difficult. And when it's written for that to be a natural point, that's one thing. Trying to break up a chapter or a story into manageable parts becomes a bit more difficult. It's one of the reasons why I kind of stopped doing Retreat Hell, because the chapters were 20 to 30,000 words long. And then trying to find natural breaks in that story is a lot more work than otherwise with other series. I don't think so, Nigel, but I'm no moral authority on jar eating. It is my pleasure, Donald. Ba-dum-tsh. All right. That is that. This one is definitely pushing that line in the YouTube community guidelines. I think it should be fine. It's not graphic. Well, not overly graphic. I think you were right the first time, Nigel. To be quite honest. Alright, I'm going to move there. I don't know. It's close. I mean, it's not graphic. But it does talk about how lustful humanity is. So, I don't know. Yeah. When in doubt, don't, I think. Yeah. When in doubt, don't. That is the YouTube way. But as you can hear, my voice is also not happy. And we've been going for 3 hours, so that would... yes, we are a lustful species. We're not the most lustful. Thank you, Leonie, for popping past. Very much appreciated. Yeah, I don't think I'll do this. Fair enough, Peanut. Fair enough. But we've been going for 3 hours. The old voice is a bit rough at the moment. Because of stuff. So I think we'll move this off for tomorrow to do some more work. Still got to do some packing. Still got to sort some stuff out. Yes, well, that was the punchline of the story, was that they were going to condemn humanity to die because every time they interact with us, we do unspeakable things. Then somebody discovers another sentient life form, a nice, peaceful, harmonic species, the dolphin. And they were going to go have a nice chat with them. So that's the joke. But like I said, I think it tickles the lines of community guidelines, so I'd rather err on the side of caution than piss the algorithm off any more than I already have. Look, I mean, one of the funniest stories is the intergalactic porn collection. That was kind of funny, but it wasn't graphic. Anyways, 3 hours in. Well, 2 hours and 55 minutes. So we'll quickly do some thumbnails, I think, and then call it a day after the thumbnails. Move that to there. No. And move this to here. Click on there. First one, insult to the galaxy. Yep, just another couple minutes. We'll do some thumbnails, and then we'll sign off and do the final nod. Alright. We've got everything generating. No, not that one. I want that one. That's one. Big cannon. That's two. Let's just get this properly oriented. To that side. Cool. And then number 3. Yeah, so it was basically a steampunk rail cannon. Or just a cannon. Alright, that is it. 3 hours and 2 minutes. Nice stream. Thank you all for spending your time with me. It's very much appreciated. I know how much time means to everybody and how much it's worth. So I truly do appreciate you spending your time with me. Hopefully I've been entertaining enough to pay for that time. And hopefully you all enjoyed yourselves. Let's go with the big one. I'll be streaming again tomorrow, barring, health issues or anything like that. So I'll see you then. I hope you all have a fantastic day, doing whatever it is you're doing. And we'll hope to see you tomorrow. Cheers.